And let's give a couple seconds for a couple more people that are joining. We can get started. One more. All right, I think we're ready. We can get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another XAFers community stand-up. Today, we have a really special one. We have been talking about scalability in XAFers in several videos, several meetups in the past. And today, Denis from the DevExpress team, SAF project manager, will tell us all about all the scalability and improvement in 26.1. We have a couple quick small demos that we wanted to present, but we're gonna skip it for next one. So probably we do another meetup next week or the next after that. And I want this one to be all about the scalability and the 26.1. If you guys have tried the beta, you know that it is already faster. So, and Denis has a lot of other cool things to show us. So Denis, I'm not gonna make the presentation too big. Right here, I see a lot of the familiar faces that always join us on the meetup. So I really appreciate everyone, as always, taking a couple hours of their Thursday morning to be here with us. And Danny, feel free to introduce yourself and take the screen.
Hello everyone, my name is Denis Garavsky. I'm a principal product manager at Developer Express. Thank you for coming.
Hey Dennis, feel free to check your screen and let's go straight to the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take control. 1 second. Please let me know when you can see my PowerPoint.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, today we are going to talk a lot about XAF 26.1 major release. And I think the major part will be about scalability, performance enhancements, because I think that's why most of people are here in the first place. And in addition, I'll cover some general XAF enhancements because, of course, our new release includes not only performance enhancements and a lot of nice stuff for Blazor, for Core, even for WinForms. And before we get started, I just wanted to pay attention to a few topics which I believe will be helpful for most of you today. And of course, it's about AI. What else? And my motivation is that, as you probably know, we have recently published a developer survey. It's a huge one. Let me switch to my web browser. I think I published it just a couple of days ago, and I recommend you checking it. And I was surprised that, at least based on initial few hundreds of votes, that approximately a half or even more than half of people, they are either unaware of our DevExpress MCP server or just not using it yet. And in AI era, it's crucial, in my opinion, to research this concept and include it into your daily development workflows, because it just helps you deliver better quality for your AI generated code. And as a spoiler, we are also working on a set of products and task specific AI skills. It's like the next step. And we hope to publish them in the coming weeks, and they will help you improve your AI coding experience even further. And also, I wanted to let you know that if we talk about MCPs and AI skills in the community, there are already many useful general purpose AI skills. Like, for example, here you can browse GitHub .NET repo. And like a few days ago, Microsoft updated it with additional Blazor specific development skills. And even before that, in the previous months, there were like general purpose AI skills. So I highly recommend you checking .NET repo. I think I will post a link later in the chat. And also, I wanted to use the chance to just show you nice case study, XAF case study for XAF Blazor and WinForms UI from our long-term customer, Kate. I think you're here, right? At least I saw you.
Yeah,
And
I'm here.
yeah, thank you for coming. And it's just a nice application, nice backstory behind it, nice experience. So I highly recommend checking it out as well. And also, if you would like to talk about your experience, your company, your solutions, your experiences with the Express products, don't hesitate to contact us and submit your case studies. We will be happy to review them. And finally, I wanted to inform you about our recent security-related survey, which I believe will be most interested for our European customers. And in this survey, you can also find information needed for compliance with the new regulations, and also you can request software bill of material, at least a preview of it for .NET components. So it's also very interesting, and it will be required very soon for many of us at least. Okay. Let's dive into our major release. Let me try to move this panel here. Okay, I wanted to browse our what's new documentation or for the new beta version. It's not yet official release, but early preview beta, which we published a few weeks ago. Official release is coming also in 1 or 2 weeks, according to plan. And you still have a chance to test many of 26.1 features here. And I also thank everyone who participated in this beta program and shared their feedback in support center and via email and other channels. Well, thank you. Okay, let's run through release notes and just stop by the most important features, I would say. The first one, it's a security-related feature, which is also motivated by the evolution of security hashing algorithms. Because if you remember, the last time we changed this was about 10 or 8 years ago. And in 25.2, we officially deprecated one of the legacy hashing algorithms. And in 26.1, we are enforcing the newest hashing algorithm. And it's recommended to switch to it for at least new applications, new users, because it just defines your security of your passwords. And in this case, with 26.1, it's kind of a change, but it's a soft change for most users, because unlike 25.2, we have intentionally did not deprecate or didn't remove the old algorithm. So in one application, you can use both algorithms, legacy and newest one, and you can configure them flexibly using pitch toggles, and you can find additional information in these documentation links. So check it out, test how it works, and please share your feedback if anything goes not according to plan. Another security-related enhancement, which is mostly important for, I think, for enterprise customers, for public sector customers, it's content security policy enhancements, or CSP in short. We continue enhancing our Blazor components and XAFers as part of it. And in this release, we eliminated some previous requirements like this one. So I think the only case that is left is for rich text edit, Blazor rich text edit component, which still requires some tuning plan, but may be subject to change in the future. Next, it's about enhancing our data access for EF Core. In this case, we supported the latest version, EF Core 10. We also updated our default project templates. We retested everything, and you can check our performance benchmarks, because Microsoft is constantly improving .NET itself and EF Core 10, as part of it, and it's just interesting to see how it's progressing with each new version. And you can see our latest numbers by this link. It's also for us. It's also it was also a chance for us to see how can we support the latest EF Core 11th version, which is currently in preview, like .NET itself, and it's hopefully it's also coming later this year. If we continue talking about data access, then it's worth talking about XPO and just core data access library. You know well that we XAF itself, XPO, they are relying on some core functionality in data library, like criteria operators, server mode, and in this release, we developers from our team helped to improve this core library and to support the new datetime offset that type. In this release, it's done for Microsoft SQL Server and for Oracle, and we will continue enhancements in this regard later this year, and we hope to support additional database engines, hopefully because there are many differences in how different database handle this type. They don't have unified type, so we have to be creative here. And the second part is that we want to support not only core like criteria operators, but we also want to support UI part. And it's also a huge undertaking for DevExpress, Blazor, Windows Forms components, and XAF list and property editor. So this work will be continued in the next major. But at least we have implemented the core, the foundation for this. I will skip these performance enhancements for a few minutes and just go directly to Blazor enhancement, just to give you an overview. This one is not a big enhancement, but still shortcut for some scenarios when you want to customize existing property editors to implement custom buttons. Like in this case, we are showing like additional call action for a phone number. We also implemented a better workflow for designing reports, and by making additional comments to include additional data sources into your report for Blazor in particular, because Blazor report designer was different by functionality, different from WinForms, for example, and WinForms provided historically mock capabilities. This work is not finished yet, and we still want to support view data source because it has different configuration options and requires some tuning from both XAF and reporting teams. But it's coming hopefully in next major. This is minor enhancement, just usability. Okay, this one is interesting. As you remember, we currently have a JavaScript-based filter editor, and in this release we integrated the native Blazor filter editor. It has different benefits for both us internally and for not only maintenance wise, but also for end users, customers, because in the first place it's a native component. It has better integration with things like localization, themes, and so on. And in the beta version, I especially appreciate feedback that we received from some customers on performance, and this is also important aspect. And performance, it's much better in the final 26.1.3 version than it is in beta. And it's also worth noting that the new filter editor will be enabled by default for criteria properties in XAF. You can still use the old property editor if you wish for some time, but our long term, we hope to deprecate it and remove it from the box. Again, for easier maintenance, because it's JavaScript and a lot of additional functionality about it is implemented on the safe side. Before we go to performance, I'll just stop on another nice XAF Blazor enhancement. It's a pivot grid list editor integration. It's now native. You don't need to create custom editors on your site. Don't need to follow any examples. It just plug and play. Here you can see that we integrated it in our main demo. You can already test it. It's currently in CTP because we haven't yet finalized what we wanted to do in this release. And also, I know the Blazor team also has some things to do for their underlying control. But it's already available for your testing, and we will appreciate your feedback on this. Okay, before I jump into scalability and performance, maybe anyone has questions about new features I highlighted? Any comments?
The only thing that I will say then is definitely we're looking forward to the skills. We have been actually creating our own skills based when we are doing the same work one and again, and they get really good. And also the Dev Express MCP is a huge, huge productivity booster. So that one definitely is a really looking forward feature in our side. And the grid, the pivot grid is something that everyone has asked for it. So as well, kudos there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree about AI skills. It's like MCP. I would say that both are helpful. At the same time, it's easy to configure in your Visual Studio or in your code or whatever AI assistant you are using, and yeah, it will just produce much better code. And I especially emphasize this at the very beginning. And also pivot grid, of course, yeah, in 25.2, we had to deprecate some old and popular modules like KPI, pivot chart, and a combination of pivot grid or chart module. It's also an answer for people who can't use, for example, our dashboards modules, people who need ad hoc or local pivot and chart integration. So I hope they will like it. Okay, let's talk about performance. I just wanted to start with an overview of the main enhancements. At least I will not mention every fix, every detail, because I think we would need like 10 hours for this. It's just a short recap of what we were focusing in the latest release and just an overview. So first, I wanted to start with enhancements in Blazor components themselves. It's important to know that we have separate teams, like XAF team and Blazor component team, like WinForms team and other teams. And in the latest releases, we worked closely on the same goal. And I really enjoyed this collaboration once again. And because it helped both customers. I mean, even if you are not using XAF Blazor, this release will bring additional benefits for you. So let's quickly see what our Blazor team has accomplished. Again, I'm jumping to our what's new documentation, and this enhancement they are implemented across different controls, both like key controls like grids and also like core, I mean, basic component core, like underlying components like buttons, etc. And here you can see reduced load times for the grid. In particular, you can also see enhancements to additional controls like menus, like ribbon, toolbar, context menus. And it's also nice that the team accounted for those users who are using applications from the mobile phone, mobile web browser, and they perform different tests. And there are just many enhancements, and they all contributed to what we will discuss further in XAF Blazor. So thank you, the Blazor component team. The next part is XAF Blazor specific enhancement. So if we go here and stop by, okay, sorry. If we go here and stop by this link, you can see just sub-specific UI enhancement. In the first place, we have implemented a better handling for tabs in when tabit MDI is enabled. I mean, we all know, I think we all face this problem from our users when you have multiple tabs open, like 10, 20. You can even see the situation in my web browser here. Like I think I have like 15 tabs open. And for XAF Blazor, each open tab, it means an XAF view is technically rendered on the web server. It stays in memory, and we have added options to limit the number of open tabs in the first place, because you can just configure it like to 5 or 10 depending on your user preferences, your hardware, and have a better experience for the majority of your users, memory-wise, of course. And also we have implemented different strategies for handling situations when you reach a limit, like you can close tabs, you can reload previously open tabs, like the same what Google Chrome does, and for old or forgotten tabs. It just unloads it from memory, and it's helpful for just overall performance of your application, your web server. Next, we have enhanced our lookup property editor. It's very important because typical forms in line of business applications may have like dozens of them literally on one page. And we have improved initial loading times for such forms with multiple lookup property editors by providing a special mode, like it's called view mode. I mean, it's not initially it's not rendering a full-fledged combo box, but it's rendering a label text box with just default property value, and it increases rendering performance noticeably. Also, we have made optimizations for our menu system when you using the traditional toolbars or the new ribbon UI. It's important to understand that a typical form like this one, even though it may display just a few actions, like 5 or 10. Under the hood, your application may have hundreds of controllers, hundreds of actions, and it's important to render their state. I mean, menu item state like it's visible or hidden, active or disabled, and it's all happening under the hood. And users don't notice it, but we have improved this algorithm, so it's now requiring much less memory than before. Here you can see it's like 2 times reduction in 26.1. And again, it's all impacting your web server performance, how it handles handles requests from all users. The less memory, the better for everyone, as you may understand. And very important, I think, even for those who are not targeting like hundreds of users in their application, it's security system enhancements. We could optimize a few places in our code, introduce some caching, and we got a nice enhancement as a result, like 25%. And you can see breakdown for different operations like saving, loading, and checking permissions in this GitHub repository. It's where we traditionally publish our XPO versus AF core comparisons, and there you can also find our test application with multiple rows, with multiple permissions, a lot of data, so it resembles typical line of business application. So check it out. And it's nice to it was nice to hear already in this beta release from different people. I think I got like a dozen of positive feedbacks from people who noticed this enhancement. So I hope everyone will too in their own applications, especially in the final release. And that was the XAF UI part primarily. And final part, it's about enhancing our underlying core. I mean, it consists of a few parts, at least for us, for our team. First, it's improving our testing system. Truth to be told, that we always had performance tests, and here I'm talking about special tests, like special tests for high volume scenarios when, for example, you are testing like 300, 500, and even folks attempted to test 1,000 concurrent web users. And it's just important to make this infrastructure, to stabilize it, to ensure that it returns trustworthy results, and it doesn't overload your network, your other systems, and it's easy to use. And I will talk in detail a bit later about this, but we also had to develop some internal testing applications in addition to our traditional EasyTest functional testing framework. But it was, I think it was the most important step. Like I always repeated to people that testing is crucial, and without, for example, without easy test, XAF would not exist today. And that's why we have always invested into testing at the early stages. When, for example, we started Blazor UI in 2019, we spent like 3-4 months just on creating tests. I mean, no features, no bells and whistles, just test. It's just a foundation for based on which you can iterate faster in the future, more reliably, especially when a lot is at stake. After developing this infrastructure, we have always we could also detect key bottlenecks in high-load scenarios, and I already mentioned security briefly, and it was visible under high load immediately. The same was application model. And application model optimizations is part of what we have achieved in 26.1 scalability wise, because we have revised our architecture and completely, and we have implemented so-called log-free application model. Technically, it means that when a web server, your application is processing multiple requests from hundreds of users, it means that, for example, you need to show an XF list view, like employee list view. It has some columns. These columns are linked to information in application model, like some attributes, like display format, like lookup property, etc. And there are just dozens of attributes. And also, as you know, application model has a complex structure. I mean, one node may refer to another node, and so on, so on, so on. And there are many of such nodes, and it's also there is a multi-layered structure of application model. So there is like a zero level, above administrative levels, and end user difference level, and maybe additional layers. And it's all need to be calculated different stages of request processing, and it just takes time. And the key benefit of this so-called new mode log-free application model is that it's kind of like a plain dictionary. So no more calculations, just quick access to the required information at a given time. Of course, like anything in this world, it has some trade-offs, I would say. I mean, to create this plain and super fast dictionary or cache, you have to spend some time. For example, at the very beginning often. So you pay some penalty, I mean, startup penalty. But it's not big, and it meets our needs, and I hope will meet your needs too. Another trade-off is that this new mode, it implies that XF developers, they must follow certain conventions or certain rules. I mean, to how they customize application model, how they access application model. You know, the beauty of our application model is that it's extendable. You can create extenders for any node. You can access application model in code at any time at runtime. For example, when you customize layout in detail form of your Excel Blazor application, so you move one field to another, group and group, I mean, remove fields, or you hide columns in the grid. It's under the hood, it's still application model customizations. And so far we could preserve at least most typical user scenarios, like the ones I described, like layout customization. I mean, scenarios that are already built in XAF. The only exception that must be taken into account by XAF developers are advanced cases when you customize application model at certain phases of application lifecycle. And I will not talk much about it. It's better to refer to documentation that we will publish with the official release. But the bottom line is that these exceptions, they don't stop us from making this new log-free mode the default in new XF applications, starting with 26.1. And we are also open to user feedback, because each application is unique, and different customers could implement even more advanced, more sophisticated customizations, and we will be happy to check how they work for you in this mode. That's it for the part 3, and now I think we need to dive into additional details of our load tests, because without them it will be difficult to estimate what has actually changed in 26.1 as compared to 25.2. And I will start with 3 types of tests. I call them like dimensions, and later you will see why. The first dimension is high-load tests that are designed to measure application performance when all the users, I mean, literally all the users, like 1,500, they literally do the same action simultaneously. I mean, just in the same moment. And the goal of this test was to quickly understand what is the key bottleneck. I mean, because problems that are visible under high load, they quickly pop up. I mean, quickly pop up when you just overload your application. I mean, when your application is used by 1, 2, 10, 50 users, these problems are hidden. It's difficult to get them. Maybe 1 or 50 users will notice something, but the rest not. But when you bombard your application with thousands of requests, it's just problems pop up. And it was the case, at least in our research, as I described with security system earlier. And also the goal for this peak load test is to better understand your boundaries. I mean, to give us and also you customers like a reference of what is possible, where the limits are. It's kind of margin of safety, I would call it. And I will show examples of such tests to you in a few minutes. the second dimension is so-called, I call it a typical XF end user workday. And here I just pasted some my drafts from GitHub code related to such tests. The bottom line is that these tests are designed to emulate a typical work day of a user. Like you come to work at 9, 10, or 8, you open your application, you log in, you browse orders, contacts, you open detail forms, you do some export, and so on and so on. And you do it with some pace, I would say. I mean, you have to think about what you do. I mean, for a few seconds, then you wait for some results. Maybe somebody talks to you, and you don't use your application. So it's important to for us to emulate just typical user activity in addition to peak or high load. And it's kind of like a different dimension that gives you a full picture of what is possible. And the third dimension is just a variation of the second one. I mean, user activity, but it's presented differently in more traditional way. I think many of you are familiar with the concept of requests per second or RPS, and it just tied to the number of your concurrent users, their pace or number of requests per user. It's also time when user thinks or pauses between requests, and it's certainly a time of your web server response. And here, when I talk about requests per second and requests, I'm referring to predefined set of user actions that just again typical actions in a given in an application of a given complexity during a work day, because we're not talking about extreme scenarios here, and I will cover it at the end of my presentation. Now let's just see what it looks like. Let's start from activity test or dimension 2. Here you can see on the left side, you can see our internal tool that we developed to better analyze performance under high load. And here you can see on the left one of test runs for 25.2 in particular. It's a test configuration, just a simple configuration, like just 80 concurrent users. It's using a machine with 16 CPUs, and but it's very powerful, like 64 gigabytes of RAM. And here you can see just a typical actions, I mean, that the users would do. For example, just run application, fill your username and password, log in, navigate to demo task list view, open some task, enter some data, just enter some data again, save, navigate next, and so on. And here you can see that even by names, these are typical easy test commons. Easy test, I remind you, it's our functional testing frameworks, which some of you are already using. And on the right side, you can see performance of a test application. This test application is main demo on steroids, I would say. We call it like main demo heavy because it's just, as you remember, base main demo is just a dozen of business classes. I mean, custom business classes, maybe a couple dozens of built-in classes, and a few controllers, a few actions, and a dozen of permissions. So it's not typical line of business application that most of you have in production. But we have enriched it with like a lot of data, like hundreds of permissions, users, roles, hundreds of controllers, hundreds of business classes, actions. So exactly what you love to do at home in your own applications. And here you can see a comparison of just one of the runs. It just arbitrary, so don't judge much about it. But anyway, here you can see response time of an application average response times. Here you can see milliseconds, and also you can see here you can see the number of concurrent users. And it's easy to observe that for this particular setup, when we have like 80 concurrent users in 25.2, the response time is about 2 seconds and half, almost half, mostly. And it's important to know that this is not clean time. I mean, it's like dirty time that includes additional easy test overhead. So, which is about, in different cases, it can be from half second to 2 seconds. And it's easy to see that at 80, even not at 80, even earlier, at like 70 users, we can see that response time for some users skyrocketed. So it means that it can handle such a load well. And on the other part, you can see in red, you can see 26.1 that handles 180, 100 easily without much increase in response time. It's only starting to, at least for this arbitrary test, it starts to grow only when it comes to 150, and for 200 it's some problem. And it just, I want to emphasize that it's, again, it's one of the tests. In this case, it's probably an employee form, and its results are different for different objects, different configurations, because they include different data, actions, controllers, and we'll discuss it later. And another illustration is solely from 26.1. Here you can see a test run, which is, as you can judge by color, is green. I mean, tests are passed, and we can see like 200 of 200 concurrent users passed. I mean, and again here response times, and in yellow we just highlighted the max response times. And again, it's important to emphasize that all these timings, they intentionally include overhead, which can be up to 2 seconds in some configurations. So if we take, for example, extreme cases, here it's 200 concurrent users, we have response like around 4 seconds. And if we deduct 2 seconds, 2 seconds is not bad in general. But again, it depends on a test, and it can be different test operation, configuration, etc. And here it's just another side-by-side comparison for this activity or typical XAF and user workday tests. Here you can see in blue again 26 5.2, and in red 26.1. It's another test, another business object. So, but it's clearly seen, and you can see it by this where this peak starts. It's clearly seen that. Okay, let me move it here. It's clearly seen that already starting from 125.2, it can handle a lot of users well, while 26.1 does a great job. I mean, it's not exponential growth, it's stable until 250 or so, and then for this particular operation, it can be like a heavy expert or whatever. It only here it goes up. Okay, let's also talk about our high-load test for extreme scenarios. And for this, I have a dedicated document, and it just describes our experiments with extreme configurations up to 500 concurrent users, which are currently possible technically with this particular main demo heavy application and our recent optimizations. And I want to emphasize that such a configuration is technically impossible with 25.2. So it's already a huge progression in 6 months. So I will not describe all the details of this application because again it will take a lot of time. It's all that you need to know that it's quite complex. Again, it's quite complex application with dozens or even hundreds of business classes, sections, controllers, and it's tested under high load. And that's what I mean by that it's impossible to replicate with 25.2. In our test, we could only reach 200 concurrent users using our test hardware, which is a machine with 16 CPUs, and in this case it's different. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM, but with 26.1 we could handle the maximum, I mean 500 in this case. And it's also important to know that, as I demonstrated earlier, that even though the previous major handled 200 users, you saw how it did it. It was like this. Okay, let's talk about the main enhancements. Let me scroll to the results. Here you can see an overview of our peak load test. It consists of just a few commands. It's login, it's navigation to some list view, it's opening some detail view, it's a set of next previous actions just to load additional data objects, and it's also a set of close view commands. In this case, this application is using tab MDI, so it's closing a tab, and it's also a set of here we are talking about a set of actions, and I emphasize that the test is literally like this. We synchronize all the users. I mean, we literally create like 500 browser instances, and at the same time they start accessing an application and executing these commands, like login, navigate, process all. And here you can see on the chart and by text that these commands are significantly faster with 26.1. Like, I mean, like up to 3 times, like 3.7 in this particular test. And it's something that you should already notice if you enable all the optimization that I described earlier. Let's talk about timings, I mean, in milliseconds, which we may better understand. Here you can see in green it's 26.1, and here you can see the number of milliseconds, like in this case, opening a detail form. It's 4.2 seconds. And again, I remind you that this is not clean time. It's a dirty time that includes easy test or our functional testing framework overhead, which can be up to 2 seconds. And you can compare the height of these bars in 25.2. It just speaks for itself. And what else is interesting for us? It's memory. Let me scroll to show you memory usage. As far as I remember, to pass this test in 26.1, the application used around 11 gigabytes of memory for its peak load. Okay, I found memory. Yeah. I was a bit mistaken, but yeah, it was about 14 gigabytes of memory for 500 users. And for 25.2, it just didn't pass. I mean, it stopped at 200 users. Yeah. I think it's the main results of high-load tests for a lot of concurrent users, and we can go to the next slides. Let's talk. Let me move this panel somewhere. Sorry. Let's talk about the future and our plans. And first, I wanted to say that 26.1 is just initial phase, or maybe not initial. I mean, we're in the middle. I mean, it's not done yet. And for 26.2, by December 2026, we hope to finalize what we planned, and it's remaining our biggest focus for XAF team, and because it all involves not only people from our core team, but also people from different teams, like Blazor team I mentioned. Also, there's a sub team like XAF Blazor, and we all have to coordinate, we have to cooperate, and do a lot of tasks together. For example, our Blazor component team, they could improve performance of their components based on our test results. We just feed them test cases, consult, and they improve the underlying components. So it should continue in the next release. And beyond this work, it's also quite quite a lot of documentation work. I mean, we have to we have already completed our high load tests. I mean, for peak load tests, and we have to document them better. So, like in the form of this PDF document that I used, it's of course a draft, but we have to improve it. We have to make it clearer for you, our customers. Also, today we are at the point of stabilizing our activity test. Activity test, just I remind you, it's emulation of typical workday of XAFer user in a typical application. We hope to get feedback from you, what you think your user, what you know your users are doing, how often, I mean, how often they, I mean, execute commands like every 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 minutes or so. And so we have a common understanding of a typical user activity, so we can optimize it. Next step, it's creation of the third dimension or tests of RPS tests. I mean, just to give you another dimension or understanding of what is possible with your Excel application under high load, because independently each of these tests doesn't give you the full picture. Only together you can better understand. Of course, it's the same value for us. I mean, having all these tests, all these dimensions, and because it's just bread and butter for us to make code enhancements in our products, in XAF itself and components as well. And we have a lot of ideas what we can improve based on our existing tests, and I'm sure there will be even more if we implement additional tests. And what else? By 26.2, we hope to publish our test applications and our load test configurations for anyone to review, and potentially maybe some advanced users will want to replicate it. Because it's like having a component or framework source code. It's just transparency, better understanding of what is going on, and it just requires step for us. And of course, we will have to document all the results, like the ones I showed previously. We also have to highlight the best practices, best design practices, architectural practices, and limitations, like limitations of free, log-free application model. And we hope to complete it by December 2026. And next, what is next? Long term, as you remember, this scalability and performance enhancements, they are, for us, it's an enabler for further evolution of our framework for SAS scenarios. I mean, you know, we already have our multi-tenancy module for this, and this scalability is just a step to mature it. And once we once we are confident in supporting multiplayer users, we can also add additional features to our multi-tenancy module. And I'm not mentioning additional enhancements to XAF Blazor UI itself, usability, core enhancements based on user feedback. Of course, as in every release, we'll devote a part of our resources to this, and it's just essential, same as bug fixing, answering support questions. So it's all included as well. I'm also almost finished my presentation and just have a few slides left before we I will be happy to answer your questions. And I wanted to talk about our challenges for our team, I mean, on this path. It just due to nature of this task, I mean, high-level testing, I mean, in general, it's just quite complicated to measure, I mean, to measure performance of your application under such extreme conditions. And it just not only difficult for, I mean, for developers, like we have to allocate the most experienced developers on this task. Like currently we have 3 core developers and 1 developer on XAFers sub-team, and they are the most experienced, the most skillful guys on our team with the biggest belts and heads, and the same guys are working on Blazor component team. It's also complicated in terms of, I mean, hardware resources, because I will just give you an example. We had a situation once or a few times when in our internal corporate network, and I must know that it's quite powerful, I mean, fast, I mean, the best we can get, as you can understand. And still, we had a few situations when our initial tests, they flooded our network. I mean, we had to contact our IT administrators to tune up, I mean, to increase limits, I mean, to give additional hardware like this 64 gigabyte memory server, and it's not the one example, of course. And as you may understand, due to nature of issues that occur under high load, it's very difficult to catch them. I mean, for developers, it requires a lot of retries, requires patience, and it's just costly in terms of time, I mean, developer time. What else? Of course, it's we after 25.2, where we had to cut off .NET Framework support, we had to cut off a lot of APIs like KPI, PO-chart module I mentioned. We are trying to limit the number of breaking changes for existing customers, and that's why we are so careful about things that are related to application model. And as I told you, we'll publish additional guidance on this new log-free mode, so you can see how to adjust your code, or how maybe we can how we can take your scenarios into account. And finally, I would mention that Microsoft Blazor server platform itself, it's kind of, I mean, it has its own quirks, I would say. I mean, when it comes to dealing with hundreds or thousands of concurrent users. Because if you talk about the Blazor server, it's a stateful application. You have to keep some state on the server and memory for circuits, Blazor circuits. And we have to be creative here. And I think we will be also contacting Microsoft for maybe some additional information, and also with our feedback on Blazor server. And we are also happy to see that Microsoft Blazor team is evolving Blazor server, because it's the biggest platform for them as well. I mean, it's the most widely used, more used than WebAssembly, for example. And if you check the latest .NET 11 roadmap for Blazor team. It has some enhancements which are even interesting for us for such high-level scenarios. I think we are almost done, and I have a small QA section just based on feedback we had from early testers of these enhancements and just previous sources. So just to reiterate, is high-level support ready in 26.1? The answer, not yet. We just have to be patient and wait 26.2 at least, where we hope to implement what I just demonstrated on this slide and see how it goes in practice. This one is, I think, last time I saw such question. I mean, previous time I saw it like in 2023 or maybe 2025. It's about like potential license. Were there any license changes in like customer access licenses for high load or multi-tenancy scenarios in 26.1? Again, my answer hasn't changed. It's no. I also send a link to a chat to support ticket where we discussed it, because again, for me and for my team, the biggest priority is to make a good product in the first place. At least later we'll see how it goes. But it's not a priority for me, at least right now. Sorry. Yeah, about breaking changes, we partially touched this one. Yeah, we will likely have breaking changes still in 26.1, but I don't expect them to be as big as it was in 25.2, obviously. Because it's this release is kind of finalization, and but we'll see. This one is interesting. It has been asked a lot in the past for even XAF web forms and XAF Blazor, and I fully understand why people ask it. And the question is, how many concurrent users my own application will support on the web server with a certain amount of memory and CPU in 26.2? And here, again, answer hasn't changed much, and with the recent enhancements, because again, every customer application is unique, and every XF developer will have to measure and account for his own application, and we just can provide guidance, docs, load tests, our configurations to simplify this planning. I mean, I cannot, I or nobody in this world, I think, can answer this question without looking at and testing your application. And because it's, again, very unique to your own user scenarios, and I will just cover it in the next question. So you can better understand the idea. What if all users export 1 million records, or browse a huge complex form, or save thousands of records every 5-10 seconds? Here, I'm intentionally talking about extreme scenario. And just imagine, like, for example, you intentionally misconfigured your application, you enabled client data access mode, and your table has 1 million records, so they are all pulled to application memory from database, and I mean some nonsense like this. And I mean, general answer is to adapt your application to your and your hardware to your unique needs. I mean, this scenario is artificial, but if, for example, you have your end users have a lot of export operations and like it's data analytics application primarily. So we have to be ready for such scenarios. You have to adapt your consider using a powerful web server. So there's no magic here today, and it will not exist tomorrow. Such scenarios, you have to be ready for them. And last question, it's will we have a generic SLA for 500 or 1,000 users? Again, due to a buffer, due to just the fact that every application is unique, it's just difficult or impossible to do such SLA. So our main priority is to ensure that typical complex line of business applications they will be able to survive such extreme high load and provide this application for reference, for guidance. So you have like kind of margin of safety, I would say, I mean, reference. And you can learn these tests here, this documentation, and see how it compares to your own application, like whether your own application is the same, of the same complexity as our main demo heavy, which we are using in this test, and decide for yourself. You can also even test it, maybe replicate our test using like similar hardware, and then see how it performs and decide for yourself. That's the best approach with XAF or without with any other framework. That's it, and I'm ready for questions. And thank you to everyone for listening and for providing feedback. We will be happy to see how can we improve your developer experience going forward.
Thank you, Denis. It was a great presentation. We have a lot of questions, so get ready. Maybe you want to get some water first. And we will start in order because we have like a few really interesting questions. So, Jean Paul, if you're still here, feel free to open the mic because I think it will be faster if everyone expresses their own question instead of me trying to say your words in that sense. Let's see if Jean Paul is here.
He said 1 sec in the chat.
Yeah. So let's see. While we wait for Jean Paul,
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we have Jean Paul here. So yeah, we can hear you, Jean Paul.
Thank you very much. I need to explain my question, I think.
Yeah.
XAF introduced the support for Entity Framework, but also changed the primary key naming for from OID to ID. And with one line of code, I can deal with my own defined business classes to override the OID, the IDs back to OIDs, but especially for the DevExpress build modules that internally also use IDs, it's more complex, and I have to when I have a legacy XPO environment and I want to move to Entity Framework, I need to transfer all the data from the module tables into the new Entity Framework tables, and I think I can bypass that when those IDs are also named OIDs instead of ID. So is it possible to have a duplicate module that supports the old naming?
I would answer this as always I do in Supper Center. First, why on earth you would like to migrate your existing XPO application to, if you already have it working for XPO for decades and you have tons of experience, and it just XPO stays as supported data access platform for XAF. We fix bugs, we introduce new features like in this release date time offset, in previous release date time only, and I can name it definitely for previous releases. So I just don't see it's as a, I mean, frequent migration path, so thus we don't account for it.
Okay. Now the reason is also the demos that you showed is all entity framework based. So the question is, how long will XPO be there? And I think if you look at the improvements of entity framework core, I think it's better to use that technology instead of the XPO nowadays. If you go back 10 years ago, I definitely would appreciate XPO, but in 2026, I think Entity Framework has a much better future than XPO.
I can't. I think I'm not in position to answer this because I know that in this chat there are many people who are using XPO and they will disagree with you. So it all depends on your unique situation, experience, and I have this question answered in generic manner in the link in documentation, and I doubt that I can provide a better recommendation for you. XPO, just maybe I will address recent entity framework core enhancements in XAF in particular. They exist or they needed just because for example, a few years ago we supported middle tier security application server. We support deferred deletion or soft deletion and some additional optimistic locking, etc. We did it just because it was needed by customers, and it was already built in XPO, and users wanted similar capabilities, and we ourselves wanted this. And if we compare Microsoft Entity Framework, I mean, versus XPO, they all have their pros and cons, and I am especially emphasizing, I think your situation, if I understood it correctly, you already have XPO application, you already have XPO experience. So if you can plan to continue maintaining your application, and XPO already working fine for you, then why not? If you are exploring something new, you are building new application, new projects, then of course it doesn't hurt to try Entity Framework, of course, but decide
let's say
what
that
was best.
I have a legacy environment and I want to add a new module, a totally separate module, but I want to share the security, for instance, or another part of the environment. Then I have to deal with the fact that the Entity Framework will ask to use IDs instead of OIDs that are normally used within XPO. So to combine both technologies is almost impossible. And if I ask you, if you have to start a new project tomorrow, would you go for XPO or for Entity Framework?
Entity Framework, as I wrote in documentation, I just posted a link in chat for new project with just plain new project from scratch.
Yeah, but let's say that I start a new project. where I share a part of the data from the legacy environment.
It's a different situation. In this case, I would go with XPO, of course, because I think it's not worth just to try to marry two incompatible things. You will face more issues in this process.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your question.
Thanks, Denis. And thanks, Jean-Paul, for your question. I mean, we have that situation before, and we did like a data migration to fix the naming convention. So there is always like some way. Maybe it's not our way, but there is a way always. So the next question is from Serge. Serge, I don't know if you want to open the microphone and do the question direct to Denis.
Yes, hello.
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 Yeah, we
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My question is regarding measurements of performance, and I'm asking if you can add support for system diagnostics activity inside of XAF and XPO. I already done it, and I already modified the DevExpress source code, and had very good experience by measuring the performance with when you have this detailed overview, which operation takes which time, and it's a kind of tree you can see which takes the most of time and so on. And it's really a fairly easy change for you to make. And
Thank you for your suggestion, Serge. Here, there are people from XF core team. They also heard your suggestion. I know they have something to say about it because, as you know, logging under high load and even without it, it's not free, but they will consider your suggestion. You can also, if you did it for your project, and you can email me at this address I posted in chat. I think we already talked with you in the past, so you probably already have it. You can just share additional information.
Okay, thanks. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, what a great suggestion, Serge. We have also cases where we wanted to introduce some telemetry, and well, like we went through the source code. So, but if there was a built-in method, it would be great also. So, okay, so since we go in order, Dave, maybe you want to join us. Let's see if there is.
I am here.
Yeah. Mike, all yours.
Anything in particular or just experience in general?
Well, like I mean, you wrote in the in the chat, so I thought, okay, let's see your opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's any specific question or like just any thought that you would like to share.
I will piggyback on Serge because we did something similar. We didn't attack the DevExpress source code directly because we didn't want to recompile. But we did do some reviewing from the other direction. So I think having a hook of some sort to do some measurements, regardless of what telemetry platform you're looking to use, is a good idea. I think that's something we would leverage as well.
Yeah, I think it's actually really nice in the sense that we work a lot in measurements. As Denis said that, I mean, if you cannot measure something, like how can you improve it, right? So we always work a lot in trying to inject some type of measurement. So if there is a built-in way, it will be even great. So I have a question of my own, Denis. Like
Mhm.
these improvements that you show in performance, will it come like kind of for free in the sense that you just upgrade your application, or there will be like a lot of breaking changes in the sense that you need to rewrite things in a different way, for example, or it's mostly
For now, if we talk about 26.1,
Mhm,
as I mentioned, there may be some changes for advanced scenarios related
mhm,
to application model runtime customization in particular.
mhm.
Because log-free mode requires some rules. And other than that, I can't recall serious backend changes in 26.1, and it's confirmed already by many customers. And if we
That's
talk
great news.
about, yeah, because I mean, we tried to, as I call it, in 25.2, we tried to cut as much fat as we could.
Mhm.
I mean, trying to, because you can't do it every 6 months, customers will not understand this,
Uh,
and we try to minimize, but
okay,
again, we'll see.
that, that's really
It's
nice. So, mhm,
also about logging. As I mentioned here, it's Dmitry. It's the core team developer, one of the most senior developers on our team, and he's here, and he may have some words about logging, Dmitry, if you wish, of course, about telemetry and what Serge mentioned.
Okay. Yeah, as you told that we will think about that, but for now we use in our ways to collect data. Also, because system diagnostic activity, they it's doesn't allow us to collect the whole data, including rendering and in Blazor application there are a lot of how to say layers. Yes, and system diagnostic activity will help to us in XAFT. Yeah, of course, collect some core data, but right now we use in other ways to analyze how application works under loading. But if it will be required for us, we will, of course, we will add this option to XAFT.
Yeah, I just comment a little bit on this about layers Dmitry mentioned. When we started measuring, it was like immediately two big layers. It's Blazor UI rendering, which consists of Blazor components, the Express Blazor components, and Microsoft Blazor platform itself. It's just like 50% or maybe even 60, because we were surprised. We were expecting application model and types info more dominating, but it wasn't. And
well,
then this core layer, which we're optimizing, and where Sergey's suggestion may help. And yeah.
it's really good that you talk about the layers because um, one time we have a case in the office where we need to measure the time on the reports, how long it takes for them to render. And in the end, like you help us with some like examples, and we end up figuring out that the rendering time was extremely low, and the loading time of the data, if you separate it by layers, was super slow. So the rendering time has nothing. I mean, everything was good with the report, and of course, customers don't want to hear that. They want to hear there is something broken somewhere else that is not theirs. But if you measure the layer and you can show the results, that's like okay, that you need to improve the other side, right? The other the other part. So thanks for
Exactly.
information on logging.
I saw a similar question in the chat about XPO. Like, do you have a similar
Mhm.
test result for XPO? It's the same story. XPO is not a problem. It's I
Mhm.
mean, it can be XPO, it can be another ORM. I mean, it just like difference is
It's a
neglectable.
really thin layer.
And
It's a really thin layer in the end, basically.
yeah, and also you can already, as I mentioned earlier, you can already check all these benchmarks. I mean, performance benchmarks which we are doing for XPO and NT framework every year, and including security, and you can see that they are on par. I mean, it's
Mhm. Yep.
XPO is not a problem.
So, and then I have like one really important question for me, and I guess for everyone else, is you say that you plan to release the how you measure the how you did the benchmarks, basically. I don't know if that's
Mm-hmm.
official kind of news because, to be honest, we usually love to do just those type of things, but we would like to measure in the same way that you measure. So if you can give us some guidance in the future of if it's official that it's going to be released, that would be like super nice because we can do tests like outside of like Dev Express institution and make our own results because as you said before, you need to test maybe the base scenario and then test your own logic because that can be totally different. And you really need to do it in your own hardware too. Because you say that, okay, there's no magic answer to tell you like with this amount of RAM and this CPU, you will have as many users. You need to be able to measure and compare to something. So I guess for me, having the scenarios like as you did with the Kubernetes, that was kind of the
Mm-hmm.
same, that you can just take
Mm-hmm.
and make your own. That will be really great for the community.
Yeah, that's my vision as well. That's why I'm talking that customers can check it yourself on their
Mhm.
own premises. I mean, literally, because it's not difficult to take a 32 gigabyte memory machine. You know, it's
Mhm.
just typical web server or virtual machine. So,
Mhm.
I mean, of course, I'm saying not difficult. I mean, it's feasible.
Mhm.
It requires time, but it's feasible. And for us, it's
Yeah.
also transparency because we are not inventing these numbers. This is a test, this is the application, this is source code. You can replicate it. It's not nothing
Yeah,
to hide.
that is usually great because you can get your own conclusions easier because you have something to compare with and you have like a really you share the same idea, like you use the same scenario, right? So that it will be like super great for the community. And we're about to close, so I don't know if there is any more question for Dennis or for the Dev Express team.
Yeah, I think we have
I think
addressed it
we're
all.
done. Hmm.
Yeah, great questions. Thank you to everybody for participating and providing feedback, and also looking
Yeah,
forward to hearing from you in the future.
so thanks everyone for copying. The video will be released, I guess, during the week. And I guess everyone is wanting the video because like we have so many messages today. So see you in a few days because we'll have two meetups this month, I think. So see you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.